y'all, welcome back to the studio. Today I'm going to show you how I built this pedestal lamp. You can use it as a plant stand like this, but I actually built mine for my projector, so it's right at the perfect height for my projector screen. So I'm going to show you how I brought this to life and how to make it a lot better than I did. Let's get into it. Here's your material list. I've linked all of this below. If you're building this as a projector stand, first you want to make sure you figure out the height so it perfectly lines up with your projector screen. I used a pretty unconventional method by stacking up books on a side table to figure out the height before I made any cuts. Here are the exact measurements I used, but again, you'll want to customize this based on the size of your projector and the height of your projector screen. Then you want to make a cutout for your globe. I struggled with this at first. I tried to eyeball it, I tried to trace it with paper. None of those worked really well. I didn't have a protractor and that would have been the most accurate method, but I found something around the house that was the exact same diameter as my globe, which you can confirm your diameter on Amazon, whichever globe you end up purchasing, and that worked really well for me. Before you trace, you want to make sure you center your object, measuring each side to make sure you have an equal distance. Then you'll trace around the entire circle and you'll add a straight line to the bottom, mimicking the shape of the globe. In hindsight, I should have traced my circle a little bit below the line to give you the most accurate shape of the globe. Then I found the center points so I could determine where I wanted to start the straight portion of the line. Child, I didn't know I was gonna be doing geometry today. Good God. The Jigsaw and I are frenemies at best. I'm not sure if we'll ever be besties, but I did my best with her for the first time. So I rigged this to try to make a straight line, which I actually had better results just hand sawing it and doing a little bit of sweat equity. So I would recommend that if you are not a table saw, circular saw girly. Now, this was my first time using the Jigsaw, and I did learn over time, not on this project, but on projects I've done since, that you really have to make sure that there's not too much hanging off the ledge as you're using it, or the saw doesn't like that. So if I find a really good video that explains the best way to do this, I will link it here, but as you can see, I was just doing my best. This is more of an art than a science, but you'll want to make sure you start curving in a little bit earlier than you would think. You can't exactly follow the line, because if you get to a point where you can't curve and you're still going straight, then it's too late. But if you are a little bit inside the line, you can always go back and cut a little more or sand it down. So it's kind of was trial and error for me. But again, this, I think, comes with practice, so definitely want to make sure you have some scrap material to play with. Now that you've got piece number one cut, you're going to move on to the second piece. You'll cut the second piece identical to the first. The only difference is you're going to cut this piece in half so that you can glue it all together. I couldn't find the footage, but I do think I trimmed it a little on each side, because as you can see, the piece that we're not cutting into is about a ½ inch thick, so you need to shave about a 1/4 inch off each side so it will be flush, and you can check this by plugging your globe in there just to make sure it's all lining up. Moving on to the top plate of your pedestal stand. As you can see, I was over the Jigsaw and went back to analog and cut this edge off. And this is my hack for getting a curved look without a Jigsaw, and I just cut it off at a straight angle and then I sanded the rest to soften those edges and make them more round. This is my first attempt at assembling it, and it went like... My husband broke this piece off, which tells me that it wasn't properly constructed in the first place. And honestly, like, I don't know if it's my, I know this floor is uneven a little bit, but like the way that it was wobbling before, at least on this side, just told me that it could be better. So we're gonna see what we can do to make this look a little bit better than it was before. It's not bad, but it could be better. Yeah, like this is like leaning this way. I might have to snap this off too. I don't know. Oh, that's how. it all over again. To make it a lot stronger, I'm actually going to screw in the first side and then glue in the final piece. To make sure this does not tear apart, it's best if you pre-drill before you screw in, and if you can use trim head screws or something a little bit more slender, that's even better. Wow. Good. Just gotta glue this last side. Now this side, she's not as cute, but you know what? For my first time using the Jigsaw, I'm not even mad. Not even a little bit. Then I glued on the final side, and it has been holding strong ever since, and my husband has actually moved it since I fixed it. I was really stressed out about it breaking again, so I did add a little bit more glue to the corners, hoping it would be more secure. And I think it would be fine if I had taken a little bit more care to make it a little bit neater, but you can see it a little bit even after painting, so that's something to keep in mind. I don't even think it was necessary. I think I was just being a little bit extra cautious. And it's finally time to paint. I am obsessed with this color Antigua from Bear, and I think I used an eggshell finish, and I am just so obsessed with how it turned out. And if your paint's not dry on the other side, I would not leave it on the top because I wanted the option to be able to take this apart in case the globe ever broke, so I used these brackets instead of gluing the top on. And make sure you pre-drill each section because the MDF is really finicky with drilling along the sides. Drilling the brackets into the sides first helped me ensure the top didn't shift around too much and get off center. Once I had all of my screws in, it was time to add my touch-up paint and paint over the brackets so that they blended in and didn't stand out underneath. And this is the final result. I am in love with how it turned out, and I can't wait to watch movies in this space. Subscribe to see what I make next.